Hello everyone. Today we are by the lovely Sumida River with that. I'm not sure if you want to know what locals call that, but it's supposed to be a flame. Beautiful rainy day. And it feels a lot like home. I'm from Portland, so this feels a lot like home. It's like rain by the river. It feels very, very homey. And we're in a touristy area, so I do have to be careful about speaking in English, because if I say anything to myself that's like a little weird, someone's gonna know. But yeah, I didn't know what we were gonna do today. And then I remembered that I am local to like one of the biggest tourist areas. So today we're just gonna walk around Asakusa and the Nakamise, the shopping streets nearby. And I'm definitely being stared at right now by a white person. Feels just like home. Show you how to get around those areas as an introvert, as someone who doesn't really like to interact with people too much, because those are generally two very, 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 very populated areas that a lot of people tend to migrate to and be in for a long time. So they tend to be very popular areas that are hard for introverts to go to. So in the spirit of introvert-friendly travel and me being anxious as all hell all the time, we're gonna go there and I'll show you how to get around as someone who doesn't really want to be around people or is generally kind of afraid of people. So, number one, this is Asakusa Station, and it is directly across from Sumida River. Asahi Beer, that is a beer company, that's Asahi. You can do beer tastings there for really, really cheap. I haven't yet, but I plan to one day, hopefully. Sumida River are all these nice little cafes. Like there's one, but there's like a million of them across the river and down the river. So I recommend that if you are needing a break from Asakusa, to just walk over to Sumida River and just like take a breather, because this is a whole track that goes all the way down the river and across the river, and there's a park on the other side that I like to sit in and drink coffee sometimes. So my first introvert-friendly travel tip. I'm looking at this throng of people across the street. It's absolutely intimidating. The first travel tip, that is Kaminarimon. Directly across the street, there is a tourism center, and on the 8th floor, there is a cafe. And not a lot of people know about this cafe, and I've been here once, but I can tell this is normal. There's usually not a lot of people in there. And you can charge your phone, you can sit and drink a latte, and you can see views of the entire city. So we're gonna go up there first thing, and I'll show you what it looks like from up there. Got my coffee, so we're gonna go check out the Nakamise and the gates. And this lighting is just gonna be awful, and we're just gonna vibe with it. That is the gate, or one of the gates. There are two. That's one of them. So this area is a huge, huge tourist destination. So there's no way that you're going to be avoiding that many people if you're not really a big fan of crowds. I'm not here a whole lot, but I've been here quite a few times. Food, charms, shirts, clothing, household goods, quite literally anything your heart desires. But now we're starting to get crowded, so we are going to dip off into the side street. Then, side streets additionally are also where you find a lot of the cuter cafes and like cuter food spots that aren't just like grab and go, because these are spots you can actually spend some time in since the population is lower. There's always going to be a lot of strawberry everything. This is where the Nakamise starts to end, so we're going to dip back into the crowd. But the streets also widen over here, so it's a lot easier to walk around. And these shops I actually like better because they have a little bit more like cheap, more traditional gifts versus all the touristy stuff that's in the Nakamise. The Nakamise is fun, granted, but it's not my favorite place to shop per se. But I do like a lot of these little shops over here. This is where you start to see huge crowds of people. So be forewarned if you aren't the biggest fan of crowds. But today's a rainy weekday at like 3 p.m. So you'll see a lot less people on those days. If you do go to Asakusa, I would recommend not going on a weekend and not going in the evening, because that's when it's going to start to get packed. Over there you can put in a coin and you get a number and you'll pull out a fortune. I won't be doing that today, but you match your fortune to the number in the box and it'll give you the fortune. I have too many of those on my wall at home, so I won't be doing it today. I do not need another. What I probably do need is to cleanse myself before entering the shrine. So we'll go over here to this water, wash our hands, and then over to the smoke to smoke cleanse. So here's our big hall. We can't actually video in there, so I'm not going to go in there at this time. However, this is our main hall of Senso-ji. There's a large Buddhist hall where I've witnessed some Buddhist monks singing. It's beautiful in there. I recommend it if you are ever at Senso-ji. However, we are not going to go in there and video any of it because it is considered disrespectful. And I am nothing if not a spiritual Pisces. Even more beautiful on the inside. The inside holds an artifact. I forget the entire story, but the parts that I remember I will repeat. So basically there were two brothers who were fishing in the area in, I believe, the Edo period, and they kept pulling up this statue but no fish. So they kept pulling up this Kanon statue, who is, I forget a god of what, but a Shinto Buddhist god. And they kept pulling up the statue and they would toss it back and they would pull it back up, they would toss it back and they would pull it back up. So they said, you know, screw it. we're in poverty, we're not getting any fish, and this statue keeps coming up, so let's bring it to a monk, bring it somewhere important. And it was placed in the main hall in there, and it's said to still reside in there. This thing is hundreds and hundreds of years old. And currently, due to fire, war, disaster, etc., it's heavily protected. And it may not be in the condition that it once was, but it is still said to be there and to be protected in there, which is also why it can be so disrespectful to be loud and obnoxious and videotape in there and things like of that sort, because this is a very highly important object, a very significant object. And that is also why there are so many rituals and things around it that take place in this main hall. And it's said to bring, I believe, good fortune and abundance. And I'm not about to risk my abundance for a video. So, I like the most is this little green area near it. These are different shrines to different things. I believe that one over there is some sort of tombstone. These ones are different shrines to different gods. This is just very pretty. We have another Buddhist shrine / god, donation box. This one is Kanon. I'll give you a second to pause to read that. There are fish in there. And again, this is one of those places that is in the heart of Tokyo and still manages to be quiet and peaceful. Of course, as you get closer to the main hall, you do have a lot of like foreign tourists, and I'm not going to be the one that says foreign tourists are annoying. However, they also don't always understand that it's a spot where you need to be quiet and respectful. I've been guilty of this as well with my loud American cadence in English. However, I like this little garden area outside of it. And then down here, and also at every exit, we should be aware, are these little shopping streets. So there's like Don Quixote, there is a Uniqlo, a GU, basically anything you can think of. I think there's like a Zara. This is like a huge shopping area as well. So as soon as you leave Senso-ji, you have the option to still spend all day here and also all of your bank account. Now we are walking into a tomb, so I will be quiet. I feel like every time I'm here I see something new, or like a whole new street I wasn't aware of. On a sunny day you can also see Tokyo Skytree, but not today because it is not a nice sunny day. Usually you can, and it's a really cool experience to see like the old mixed with the new. But you can also see that just walking down these streets. An additional fun feature of the street is all the little kappa that you find. There's one right there. These are terrifying at night. Legend of the kappa is not a family-friendly legend. They will drag you into the water and disembowel you unless you can fight them and tip them over and tip the water out of their flat heads. Them at night is not the most comforting thing. Especially because the first time I stumbled down this street, I didn't know where I was, and all of a sudden it was nighttime and I kept seeing all these creepy little statues. That's probably going to conclude today's touring around the area. I think I'm going to take myself to H&M because it's payday and it's about to be really, really hot, and I have enough money for like one shirt. Subscribe if you're interested in my content. I would love money for 2 shirts. Take myself to H&M so I can try to attempt to survive a humid, wet Japanese summer because it is June and I can already feel the heat coming our direction. The other day we had a typhoon, and that was the least pleasant thing that could have happened that day because I was not near the city, so my train got delayed, and it was a whole ordeal, and I had a cold, and it was, yeah, this is not my space to complain. I think I'm gonna take myself just some window shopping, I think, and then I'm gonna go home and enjoy the little handheld fan that I just got at Don Quixote. I'm trying to upload weekly, but like with the rain, I don't know how much I'll be out or doing anything interesting. I'm probably gonna be doing a lot more interesting stuff in like July, August, etc. September, summer, when it's nice outside. I'm trying to upload weekly, so if you're interested, stay on the page. I will be posting. Thanks for coming with me. It makes me feel a little less alone. And it's nice to feel like I'm talking to somebody. A lot of my friends from back home are subscribed to this channel, so when I post, I do get like engagement from people at home, so it is like I'm talking to my friends. And I really like that about this channel. It's like our little travel community. Right now we're on a quiet street, but I'm going to get on a bus, so I'm just gonna go ahead and sign off for now. But thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next week.